So a lot of people have been talking about AI art recently, and because I'm a professional author that works with a lot of artists, I thought I would weigh in a little bit. So on one hand, I see why a tool like this, AI art, can be entertaining for the normal person. In seconds, you can have an AI that will transform you from normal person to anime person. The problem is that you no longer commission artists to do this, so artists are losing out on work. But that's unfortunately what automation does, right? So that's not where my biggest problem is. My biggest problem is when AI art is being compared and tested against like art that is created by real artists. So here's an example where AI art is being put on ArtStation. It's featured right there next to a bunch of artists that have created art, spent tens and thousands of hours on honing their craft, and then we have an AI that just kind of pumps it out. And they're being valued at the equal level when I honestly don't think they should be. And so this is a very popular tool, Lensa, which is like that new trend where everyone puts photos of themselves and then they use the Stable Diffusion model, which is like an AI that takes the data set and will pump out like a bunch of art that like, I guess looks like you, right? The problem is that the data set that they use to train the model is actually copyrighted. They're not allowed to be using that art. And none of these artists that are, having their artwork taken are being compensated for it. So how do they get around this? They basically just say like it's nonprofit, right? It's research essentially, so they can use this data. But actually the data set has a lot of inappropriate stuff. Like I can't even say it because I think I'll get flagged, but there's data images of killings, there's data images of SA, there's data images of inappropriate stuff like I can't even say it. Basically, nonprofit is allowed to take data that is very inappropriate and then put it into Stable Diffusion, train the AI, pump it onto Lensa, and a lot of people, the common person, is using it without really knowing what this data is. Now, that's just one real problem that we have with AI, which is ultimately the data that they're using to train it is non-consensual. Secondly, like I said earlier, AI art is being compared to art that is created by actual human artists at the same level, and it is impacting artists in a very negative way, right? So Sam does art, had someone feed his art to this AI data set against his will, pretty much, and it is being used against him. Because AI art can also pump out content at an insane rate, they can also saturate, search optimization around your name. So if you're an artist and someone wants to Google you, there might be a scenario where someone Googles you and then your AI art pops up, and that's not your work. Now, is AI art bad? No, I don't think it's bad. I think it can be used as a tool to build inspiration, to build references, to help automate some of the annoying things that a lot of artists have to do. Should it replace artists? No, I don't think that really makes sense to me. And if AI art ever does become at the level where it can replace artists, then there's actually no incentive for future artists, like young human people, to ever pick up the pen or pencil. So if that's the future that we're going to, where creativity is eventually going to be completely eradicated and given to robots, then that's very dystopian.